Hey, this is Conor here at IESE Barcelona. This video is to promote an element of silent reflection in your life. As the summer is coming up here in the Northern Hemisphere, what I'm promoting and asking that each of you would consider is creating deliberate silent reflection time in your life. And as I make this video, I'm reflecting on the first biography that I read as a young person, and it's the biography of John D. Rockefeller, and the name of the book is Titan. And this book for me was a fascinating glimpse into the life of John D. Rockefeller. And more than a biography, it was a history book for me in that through reading the biography of Rockefeller, I got a real sense of what it was like to be alive in the United States from 1800 to 1860, 1870, the lifetime of Rockefeller. And Rockefeller, if we brought, basically he's the richest man who's ever lived. He was born in humble circumstances, and he built an empire called Standard Oil based on petrol, on gasoline, on oil. And if you think about Rockefeller, in the biography and when people talk about Rockefeller, one of the recurring ideas is Rockefeller never looked like he was doing anything. And in fact, if you look at Rockefeller, if you turn his wealth into today's numbers, it's probably about 400 billion was what he accumulated in his lifetime with Standard Oil. And people said Rockefeller never looked like he was doing anything. In a meeting, he would often look like he was almost asleep. He would be silent. And only at the very end, when everyone else had spoken, would he speak. And very regularly, he would ask and question. He would not say anything or state anything. He would listen and he would ask questions. And this idea that Rockefeller built a fortune of 400 billion, never doing anything, but listening, reflecting, and taking decisions. And there's another story of Rockefeller that I remember Vern Harnish sharing, that one of the things about Rockefeller and his leadership team at Standard Oil is they all lived in the same area, and every morning he would walk together with most of his leadership team from where their houses were over to where the offices of Standard Oil were. So every morning before a day's work, he would have 30 minutes walking with his leadership team. And he would hear what they were expecting for the day, what they were looking forward to, what obstacles they had faced. So every morning he had 30 minutes of just listening to what people are expecting to see today. Every evening at the end of a day at Standard Oil, Rockefeller and his leadership team would walk back from Standard Oil to their homes. And again, he would take 30 minutes where he was walking and listening to the leadership team. What had they seen today? What had frustrated them today? What achievements? What were they noticing? And Rockefeller would see patterns because he was able to listen. He wasn't trying to do anything. He was just listening and hearing and allowing all that's happening around him to come in, and then be able to take decisions about what it is that is really happening around him. And this idea that Rockefeller, a huge tool of Rockefeller, was time to think, time to listen, to take in a lot of ideas, information, and not being rushed, but having time to process it, to listen to his imagination, and to take decisions. And clearly the habits of Rockefeller really worked in his case. There's probably a number of factors around monopoly and controlling the distribution of oil that helped as well. But his ability to take great decisions. And at the time that Rockefeller lived, very few people would live just from taking decisions. At that time, most people were doers. They worked in mines, they worked in fields. Most people did a job where you worked with your hands, you made something, and that was what you earned money. So Rockefeller was unique in a time when most people's work was making things with hands, to be someone that didn't do anything. He didn't do anything because what he was doing as a leader was not doing. It was thinking and then allocating resources and putting energy of his and for his company in where he sees that there's an opportunity. And he finds those opportunities by giving himself plenty of time to take in what's happening, to think, and to listen to his imagination. I think Einstein said when he gets really stuck, he goes, lies down for an hour and listens to his imagination. And I often find that the more frustrated and stuck I get on something, the more hard I try and work and push through. And I want to develop this habit of sometimes doing enough work that the problem, the idea is there in my mind, but not seeing going for a walk as slacking. Someone once commented that when we're walking, we're 60% more creative. Now, I don't know where this comes from. Is this a real statistic? But it sounds that it could be true. And I think for me, in Vistage, we encourage a lot of the conversations to happen when you're on a walk. There's something about two people walking in the same direction, not staring at each other, that allows a different type of conversation to happen. So, some ideas for you: that the richest man who has ever lived didn't do anything. People around him said he doesn't look like he's doing anything. He would be the last to speak. He would listen, but he would take great decisions. Great decisions took a lot of reflection, a lot of listening, a lot of not rushing to do, but to step back and see the bigger picture and take decisions. So as the summer comes here, how could you create some space each morning and each evening to silently reflect on what's going on, to listen to the people around you without telling them what to do, what to think, or how to do, but just listen to what's happening. And I will certainly be reflecting on how I can create more space in my days, my weeks, my months, my years for silent reflection of what's really going on. And in the words of Einstein, lie down and listen to my own imagination. So thank you for your likes, your subscribes, your questions. It keeps me turning on this camera, hitting record and making these videos. Have a great one.